So the Athletic, we're going to get to audio from Belichick at his press conference, but first, a little bit, most of it focusing on Lombardi from an extensive Athletic article that came out over the weekend. Here it is. North Texas I'm just going to read the beginning and then I'll go down to the Lombardi stuff. North Texas quarterback Chandler Morris had thrown for 3,774 yards and 31 touchdowns when he put his name in the transfer portal shortly after the 2024 regular season. 2 days later, on December 11th, North Carolina announced Bill Belichick was their new coach. Morris, now a 6-year senior who previously played at Oklahoma and TCU, made it known he'd be interested in coming to play for the 6-time Super Bowl champion. Belichick's right-hand man, general manager Mike Lombardi, was already making the decisions when it came to overhauling UNC's roster. He didn't want Morris, who was 6 feet, 190 pounds, and did not have the strongest arm. Purdue's Ryan Brown, a 6'4", 210-pounder, who had started 2 games for a 2-10 Boilers team, better fit the mold he and Belichick were seeking. Lombardi didn't hold back letting UNC's personnel staffers, a mix of holdovers and new hires, know why. You just don't understand what it takes to play in the National Football League, he told staffers, according to a person briefed on the conversation who, like more than 20 people interviewed for the story, spoke on the conditioned man. Admitted he, of course, knowing what it takes to play in the NFL might not be the same thing as knowing what it takes to win on a college football field, or more specifically, how the more mobile Morris might be a better fit than Brown to navigate behind an overmatched offensive line. Brown transferred to Chapel Hill, but bailed to go back to Purdue later in the spring. Morris signed with Virginia, a program that hasn't had a winning season since 2019, where he led the Cavaliers into the AP Top 20. So there you go. So they passed on a kid who wanted to come into the program that took Virginia, at least for a while, into the top 20. Here is what they have to say about Lombardi. First of all, when he went to UNC in a scouting trip in 1992, he thought it was a magical place.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. Belichick and Lombardi said they preferred doing their own evaluations as Mac Brown's remaining staff prepared for the Fenway Bowl. A since departed Brown staffer still there at the time described a chaotic atmosphere. This is right when Belichick took over. Belichick had made only a few hires to that point, and they did not have defined roles. It was like a weird revolving door of people in and out of meetings. They fired some graduate assistants in quality controls, and then I realized they didn't have enough help and called a couple of them to come back after having fired them. Lombardi, who signed a 3-year, $4.5 million contract that made him the highest paid general manager in college football after going 20 years making $5 a day on something called Vissen, has finally came to indulge in the finer things. Serves as UNC's point person when negotiating with agents. The Athletic spoke to 6 agents with clients who either played for UNC or were pursued by the team in the portal. Most described Lombardi as either abrasive or dismissive towards them during the negotiations. No kidding. And wow, that's putting people off and not being good for the program. Funny. One who took his client on a visit there said Lombardi told him, "We don't fall in love with players," and gave me the sales pitch about why would you say no to Bill Belichick. Ask Lombardi. He doesn't know. That's why his face is so sticky. Another said Lombardi made a strong initial offer to his client, then lowered it considerably over a subsequent series of calls. He made it impossible to get a deal done because at some point I'm being a bad agent for my client. So Lombardi, the school of negotiating, where you offer a lot and then they go, okay, and then you slowly lower it until they go away. You know that style of negotiating?
No, well, it's not common, so a lot of people aren't as familiar with it. But it's only for the superiorly cunning to try and pull that off.
You got a sweet cabriolet that I got my eyes on, right?
Yeah, I use V-dub.
Yeah, you're asking $15,000 for it.
Okay.
I pop in there, I go $35,000. I want it now. Now, what do you say?
I'm a little confused.
You hand me the keys now. So you're handing me the keys, and I go, 25,000. And you go, all right. You drive a hard bargain, and then you hand me the keys, and I go, 15,000. And you go, well, that's what I was asking, but that's as low as I could go. And I go, 10,000. And you go, no, I'm selling it for 15,000. I go, all right. I walked out without the car. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
You dazzle them with a high number that you're going to give them. Most people would think that if you were negotiating, you'd go low and then gradually they'd go high and then you'd meet somewhere in the middle.
That's a common way of doing it.
Well, not Lombardi.
Yeah.
He's the cat who ate the canary. He chases these kids off in other ways. And even if it's, in fairness, even if it was like they liked the kid, offered him a lot of money, and then got a recruit they liked more, still that way of doing business is going to get around. It's just a terrible way of doing business. Alvin Lombardi made a strict offer to he's made it impossible to get a deal done because at some point I'm being a bad agent for my client. Alvin Gibson, an agent at Prolific Sports Group, is the father of UNC defensive back Gavin Gibson, who transferred from East Carolina after Belichick was hired. Gibson negotiated his son's deal with Lombardi. Mike is very confident in his abilities to evaluate talent. Again, an idiot who's very confident in themselves is always a failure. I don't think he's a mean person. I just think he looks at players and says, this is the production and the valuation of that. By the way, this guy's kid plays for the team. I can't say if it's fair or unfair because I don't know what his skill evaluation is. One agent who visited North Carolina with a top 200 high school recruit this spring was shocked on how uninvolved the on-field coaches were during the visit. The agent finally asked the position coach why he wasn't chatting up his recruit. You should be up his ass for 3 days, said that recruit's agent. Several sources said Belichick and Lombardi have little understanding of the salary structure in college. Unlike the NFL, salary numbers aren't public. 3 people say they overspent on some positions while hunting for bargains at others. Initially, they thought people would flock to play for Belichick and take less money, says a university source, but they realized fast that that wasn't the case. They brought in 70 new players, 41 transfers. 50 players from last year's 6 and 17 went into the portal. So right away, 50 players said, I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah, I don't want nothing to do with this.
Including several players who left for schools with bigger offers, such as pass rusher Boo Atkinson, Ohio State, linebacker Amari Campbell, Penn State, nose tackle Travis Shaw, Texas. I mean, they lost good players. Belichick came in and they lost. I mean, Texas, Penn State, recent record notwithstanding, they were the number 2 team in the country this going into this season.
Went to the college football playoffs last year. They
won 2 games in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Ohio State, Penn State, and Texas. That was those were all top 5 teams to start the season. Several UNC's current defensive starters are transfers who barely played at their previous Power 4 schools. We don't have one pro player on the whole roster, one of the people within the program said. Still, nobody at the university expected a problem this severe, with the team failing to compete against Power 4 opponents and likely to miss a bowl games for the first time since 2018. All right, so last week was a bye week for UNC. Belichick was spritzing around
recruiting.
Nantucket.
Yeah,
he was like dancing around Nantucket. He can't keep himself off Nantucket. He loves it so much. He can finally unwind there in the douchey valleys and tick-filled bogs of Lyme disease-ridden Nantucket.
Yeah.
God's way of saying, you suck.
You never belong.
Stop trying
there.
so hard.
Leave us alone.
Yeah. Get out of here. Stop acting like it's better. It's harder to get to it. That doesn't make it better. You're all douchebags, every one of you.
Going to give you a lifelong, debilitating, nearly incurable, and very hard to treat disease.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're douchebags, every one of you? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's just like, oh, no. It's much more beautiful out there. No, it's not. Okay, it's not. Well, all right. Fine. The restaurants are better. Huh? No, they're not. You like the people that are at the restaurants better because you like that sense of that you are in the upper crust.
Yeah.
Just say it. That's all. It's this pretending that that's not what you're doing. And it's also just a very douchey. I mean, it's like a poor man's Hamptons. Let's not fool ourselves.
Take off the salmon pants while you're at it.
I mean, this is the Hamptons. It is not. Okay, go ahead.
All right.
What do you got?
So Belichick speaks yesterday, as we heard. He opened up the press conference by saying there's zero credibility to any of these reports about me looking for a buyout or trying to get out of here, and all these other reports also wrong, like something about a divided locker room.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with all these people every day, coaches, players on the field. Our guys work hard. They have a great attitude, great energy, and we've shown a lot of improvement. We've made a lot of improvement. I think that's exciting for all of us to see, certainly for the individual players to see it, in the units that they work with. So, I don't know what kind of perspective some of those people have that are saying that, but I think anybody that's around it on a daily basis would see that. And I'm sure the players all see the improvement that they're making as this coaching staff.
Well, maybe you do take it from somebody who is there on a daily basis, because it doesn't sound like you're there on a daily basis.
No, he's certainly not there on a daily basis. No, he's not. He was gone. He went away. And by the way, this time last year during that fall break, I know he just got fired, so maybe it's not the best example. Well, it was a guy who got fired, so he was trying. James Franklin was at Dexter Southfield looking at an offensive lineman. Like, he was at a game this time last year. Like, during this fall break that colleges had, Penn State had a week off. For an offensive lineman, he was sitting at Dexter Southfield at a game, scouting a kid, trying to get him to come to the school. Well, Belichick can't be bothered at North Carolina.
No, they did their best.
Yeah, look, when we got here, we had 3 defensive linemen. I mean, you can't practice with 3 defensive linemen. We went out and signed a lot of players. We signed players who didn't have offers, or offers that they didn't want, that had kind of, let's call it, slid through the cracks in terms of the recruiting process. We signed players in the transfer portal that were available. We were late in the running on a lot of them. We were late on it in relationships. We were late on it in contacts, and we ran out of time. We did the best we could.
All right. So
it's
not my fault you gave me a job that I wasn't qualified or prepared to do.
Yeah, it's not my
fault. Why is that on me?
And it's not my fault that these kids all suck that are currently playing for me.
I know,
we have a bunch more games left.
That's the takeaway. You're not even halfway through the season, and you said, "Oh, you know what? If I had my druthers, I wouldn't have these players.
Well,
I'd have better players than these players."
No, because for all the issues and the hurdles they've had to come over, Mike Lombardi has done a great job, and the accolades and praise for Mike Lombardi from Bill yesterday. Oh,
I think Michael and his staff did a great job of upgrading the roster, and then it was upgraded again in the spring.
Yeah, like the kid from Ohio State that you lost, or the kid from Penn State that you lost, or the kid from Texas that you lost.
No,
those don't sound like upgrades.
No,
we're the 6-16 from last year. You're not as good as.
He's not talking about the guys that left. He's talking about the guys that Mike and his staff brought in.
Oh,
Their spring ball.
Wait. How hard is it late in the process to keep a kid on your team? Like that, wouldn't that be the easier thing, to keep the kid on the team?
Oh, the kid who's already there? One would think.
You would think so. Yeah.
I'm not saying it's something that's a guarantee, but I mean, the way kids move around now. But I would think that if they'd already played a year, you could come in and at least you'd know they were on the team. You could even reach out to them before you knew. I mean, there's back channels that you could take to make sure they were around if you were taking it seriously.
I don't know.
I mean, they played in the bowl game, you would think, or at least they were around before the bowl game.
Yeah, they were around in December when they were preparing to come to Boston for the Fenway Bowl. You didn't have to go too far to find them.
No, he didn't go to the Fenway Bowl.
I don't know anymore. It's 12. I need that, please. Thank you very much. Yeah, I don't know how things work.
The world is changing.
That's right, Mike. All right. So he did a great job of improving the roster, but it's not just about finding the best players, Fred. That would be easy if he was tasking Mike Lombardi with finding the best football players out there.
We're in the business of developing players. That's what we've done. That's what we're going to continue to do. And, Mike and his staff are looking everywhere for those players, not just talent, but, the right kind of people and that have the right work ethic and team first attitude to bring into this program.
I've heard that before. I don't want the best players. I want the right players.
Yeah. Well, the right players are getting their ass kicked every day, Bill. This is a problem.
Build the culture first. The score will take care of itself.
Yeah.
We're not here about the score. We don't care about the
when
score.
these 17-year-old kids come in, he'll be 74. So he can look to build that culture up pretty good.
You would think a guy in his mid-70s would try and win now. No, we're not doing that.
With a slob with a head injury as his GM. So right now, North Carolina is 15th in the recruiting rankings. I look that to get down to about 30th. I'm not kidding either. There's no way that they hang on to these commitments unless they're paying them an ass load of money, more than anyone else.
So let's get down to it here, where a guy by the name of Pat Welter from WRAL steps in and
Howdy
Bill's
Howdy W.
we're all. He's Bill's up there talking about how things are improving and the culture's great and I'm not going anywhere and everything's looking really good and everybody's on board for this process. And this one lone reporter has this to say in his question.
Last game was 28-3 after the first quarter, people clearing out after halftime. Statistically, UNC has gone from a perennial bowl contender to statistically one of the worst teams in college football right now. And people in this building are upset, fans are upset. The people that brought you here stuck their necks out to bring you here. I mean, can you acknowledge, you're telling me that you believe this process is working?
Perfect.
You didn't expect that in North Carolina.
No. All the reporters in Boston who didn't ask you this question when you were winning 4 games, congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, Boston media. You just got lapped by Chapel Hill, North Carolina.
Way to go, Pat. What does Bill have to say?
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a learning curve. We're all in it together, but we're making a lot of progress, and the process.
Usually at 74, you're learning how to ceramics or some sort of card game that mahjong. He's just
learning how to play cribbage.
Yeah, he's just kicking around how to run a college program, which is why take someone like from a Tulsa, or why take someone from an established college coach from a smaller program and bring him in, like the guy from Indiana that went to that coached at James Madison. He brought a bunch of his kids in, and now they're in the top 5 or whatever the hell they're in since Indiana.
Yeah,
Indiana's number 3. Like, he's only been coached there for a few years. Why get a guy with college experience when you can just bring in an old man that doesn't know what he's doing, who tails around an idiot with him? Go ahead.
Remember how old Marv Levy was when he finished coaching the Buffalo Bills? You looked at him like, oh, my God.
He looked like he was 100. He looked like Sparky Anderson.
Okay. He was younger than Bill Belichick is right now when he quit.
Yeah.
So there is one bit of good news from all of this for all of us, and that is about that documentary, which we heard was shelved and wasn't going to happen. Bill?
It's still a work in progress, and we're working through a few logistics on it. So no real update at this time, but there will be something.
Yeah, we're trying to find an outlet dumb enough to make my girlfriend ahead of it.
No, that's not what's going on at all. They're just waiting until maybe they win.
Oh.
Like, if they win one week, then they'll make a documentary about that win.
It'll be the shortest documentary ever.
It's going to be a few weeks, Fred, before that happens.
The funny thing is, I bet you he has no idea with the documentary. I bet you he has no idea what's going on because he's put his life completely in other people's hands. He just gets led around Nantucket like a piece of garbage. Like plankton, just led around. With his idiot kids. Now I've been told his kids are idiots. So now I don't know if that's true or not, but no one's coming out of this looking good.
They bringing a loser to another loser town.
Mike Lombardi's like 60, so I wonder what he's going to do for the rest of his life. Because, you can put him on as a stunt guest to get people pissed off, but, he can never get a job in media. He already's been on Visson, the company Visson, which I can't imagine is a very lucrative career.
No.
If you're someone with connections to Belichick and all that stuff and you get a job on Visson, you're a complete failure. He's a failure at everything he does.
If you like that clip, and how could you not? Check out more videos from Toucher and Hardy here. Point slightly up and to the left. For more Patriots analysis and opinion, hit this playlist. Point slightly down and to the left. And for the latest from the Sports Hub, download at 985thesportshub.com.